So Apple has finally announced the iPhone 16 and we now know what it looks like. So in this video, I want us to look at some of the new features and changes that were made on the iPhone 16. Some of these features are on the design, some on the specs, and some on the software. So let's get to it. So first, let us talk about some of the design changes. And the most notable of them all is the camera layout. So the camera layout on the iPhone 16 is vertical and no longer diagonal like the iPhone 15. But it will allow the iPhone 16 to capture spatial videos and photos which you can play back on the Vision Pro. This is a feature that was first introduced on the iPhone 15 Pro. So now we see this change on the regular iPhone 16. And the second change on the design of the regular iPhone 16 is another feature that was first introduced on the iPhone 15 Pro, and that is Action Button. So Action Button is going to replace the mute switch, and you can customize and map it into any feature that you want. So it can be opening an app, opening the camera, or switching on the torch, or any other feature that you want to map. So this is another cool feature. And then the next feature is a feature that is new across all of the iPhone 16 lineup, and that is the camera control button. And this kind of reminds me of the old Sony Ericsson phones. I used to have, I think it was a Sony Ericsson K750 if I'm not mistaken, and it was the CyberShot edition. It also had a dedicated camera button. And what Sony Ericsson was doing there is they were trying to make the experience of using the camera on the smartphone feel like you are using a digital camera. You also had something to open and close the camera lenses. That was a pretty cool feature. One of the best phones that I've ever used. So this new camera control button on the iPhone reminds me of the Sony Ericsson CyberShot. So I think Apple is trying to do the same thing. They want the experience of using the camera or the iPhone feel like using a digital camera. So this button will be mainly used for the camera, and it has some sort of a haptic feedback or some force touch. So you can click it once to fire up the camera. You can click it to capture photos or a video. And also you can click it to bring up different camera menus. And you can also scroll and swipe on it to zoom or to scroll in between the different menu options. So I think that's a pretty cool feature. And I think this is one feature that will make the iPhone 16 feel different from the iPhone 15. Because think of it, if someone is to use the iPhone 16 as their first iPhone, I think they will struggle to use an iPhone that does not have this primary camera control button. So I think that will make a huge difference in terms of experiencing the iPhone on the iPhone 16 and on the iPhone 15. And the other feature in terms of the design is the iPhone 16 is going to use the latest ceramic shield, which I believe obviously will be tougher and maybe a little bit brighter as well. And the last change on the design, of course, is the color options. So Apple has refreshed the color lineup. So now you have black, white, green, pink, and then you have my favorite color of them all, it's blue. I think it is called ultramarine. I love this color, and this is the color that Apple selected to use as the main color when they were presenting the iPhone 16. And I think it's because they understood that this color is a catchy color, and it makes the regular iPhone feel and look refreshed. So this new color lineup is well saturated, unlike the previous one, which was a bit toned down. And now let us talk about the specs. So the iPhone 16 is going to come with an A18 chip. So that is a very powerful chip. And this chip was required in order to run the onboard Apple Intelligence. But that's not all. This chip is also going to improve gaming on the iPhone 16. So it's going to include things such as ray tracing and also allow the iPhone 16 to play AAA games. So this is something that we've also seen on the iPhone 15 Pro. And now we see all of that coming down to the regular iPhone 16. So you'll be able to play games such as Assassin's Creed Mirage. So this processor chip is well optimized for gaming. And in terms of software, of course, the iPhone 16 is going to come with the first Apple AI, and that is Apple Intelligence. So this is Apple's native artificial intelligence, and it will be running on device. And some of the cool features that you can do with Apple Intelligence include creating your own custom emojis and also writing AI, and also something that they also showcased on the event, which is called visual intelligence. That is pretty cool. So you can use this feature to find information about different things. So all you need to do is just to take an image, and it's going to show you information of that specific object. So if you see something like an animal, you can take a picture of it, and it's going to show you what type of an animal it is. So if it's a plant, you can do the same thing. And also if you see places like maybe a restaurant, it can also go and find contacts and operating and working hours for that specific restaurant, and also the menu. So I think this is pretty useful, because how many times do you see a new restaurant in your neighborhood when you're passing by and you're wondering what kind of food do they sell and their operating hours and stuff like that? All you have to do now is just to take a photo and you're going to find all of that information. So artificial intelligence, or Apple Intelligence, is going to be big on the iPhone 16. And of course, they have also improved the camera. So now you can do some macro photography on the regular iPhone 16. And obviously there's other improvements on the lighting and how photos get processed to give you the best quality photo. And of course, the iPhone 16 is going to support iOS 18, which comes with a whole lot of new other customization features. So on to the big question: should you consider upgrading to the iPhone 16? Well, I'd say it depends on what phone you are using right now. I think if you're using an iPhone 15, you might maybe consider skipping this one. I'm also considering skipping the iPhone 16. But if you are using an iPhone 14 and below, I think upgrading to the iPhone 16 will be worthwhile. However, for me, I think I'm going to skip the 16 because I think the actual design change is likely to come with the iPhone 17. So I might consider upgrading only on the iPhone 17 because I'm currently using the iPhone 15, which doesn't differ much. If you look at the poster that Apple presented on the event, you would see that some of the features that they consider as new on the iPhone 16 were already available on the iPhone 15. So there isn't that much of a difference between the two phones. However, there are those new features that we spoke about now that are worth taking note of. So that's my take on whether you should upgrade or not. iPhone 14 and below, definitely consider upgrading. You will enjoy it. But if you're using an iPhone 15, you probably don't want to upgrade now. Rather wait for the iPhone 17. Yes, some of these features would be nice to have, but I think it will be worth it if you skip the iPhone 16 and go for the iPhone 17. So that's it. We've come to the end of this video. That is a summary of all of the new changes and features that are coming on the iPhone 16 in terms of hardware, the software, and also the specs. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit the like button and consider subscribing to this channel for more videos like this. I am also going to make another video on the iPhone 16 Pro. So look on the description below. By the time you watch this, the video might be out and ready. It's going to be out in the next few days after this video. So also consider watching that video as well. I'll catch you on the next one.